So, welcome again to everyone who has joined us today. Welcome to this agent webinar. Each Monday, we have a webinar which is designed to answer any questions that the agents have, but also keep you up to date with what's going on in the marketplace and what new changes, maybe what experiences we've had with agents during the course of the week, which we feel would be great things to share with you. The broadcast can go for about half an hour. It can go for 20 minutes. It can go for 45 minutes. It goes for an hour. I guess it depends where this kind of leads us. Yeah, at any stage, if you want to drop in, we've got some new faces that have come on. Then please just type your message in that box as well, and we will be able to. I'll be able to read that out to everyone. Okay. So what I wanted to talk to you about, especially now that it's December, it's 2nd of December, is we should all be thinking about our planning for 2020. You know, like any business and any activity, the more you plan ahead, then the more direction you're going to have. And you're going to know if your business is succeeding or not by the milestones and the expectations that you have. So I would hope everyone has a plan. What do you want to do? How much money do you want to achieve? Do you want to earn $10,000, $50,000, $100,000, $200,000? What is it? If you don't know, then how do you know if you've had a good year? You know, what your measure of success is different to someone else's. And also, planning is really important. How are you going to do that? Remember, this is a platform. It's not a get-rich-quick scheme. It's a platform. It's a booking system. And it's training and it's support. So you have to still connect with events. So which events are you going to connect with over the next 12 months? And where do you want to be? This time next year, where do you want to be? Do you want to have 20 events already done? Is your aim to have 500 event contacts? Are you not so fussed about the events, but you're more fussed about building your contacts? Are you brand new to the business, or have you been with the business a while? Your expectations and your goals are going to be different to someone who's been doing this a few years, and your experience and your knowledge. So it's always a good time at this year. And actually in the hotel industry, October, November, and December's probably even a little late. What a lot of the corporate agents do is actually have already completed their rate negotiation and their product design for the next 12 months. So that's right. So they've already selected their hotels. They've already negotiated their rates. They already know which hotels they're going to be working with. Why? Because they're adding them to their websites. They're loading the rates on. So, you know, as a consumer from January next year, when you go on to Expedia or you go on to, it's a little bit different, some of these other websites that dynamically move their product, but certainly the more stagnant kind of corporate bodied websites have already done it because they're delivering their websites or their product to their audience so that when they get back to work in January and February, there's a whole list of hotels for the year. They could search rates and they could search everything for the year. Well, it's all done this time of year. So what are you doing for your business? Now, remember, we're focused on groups and events and trade shows and exhibitions. Here's an example of things that you should be focused on if your intention is to move into the event space. What events are you interested? Have you looked through Google? Have you filled your spreadsheet up full of potential for 2020? Which events? Do you know which events are coming up? Why have you chosen those events? Is it because they have a lot of international visitors attending? So you know they're going to need hotels. Is it because And if you have a look at this website, is it because you've been onto their website and you've seen that they don't have a hotel partner and you want to be that hotel link? Have you emailed them already? Have you set them up so that you know that you can be this hotel booking link on their website? So what have you done to prepare for next year? So one of the things I think is really important is once you've got an idea of the types of events that you're interested in doing, that you've been Googling around and you've been creating lists, but you really look into what they've got. So here's one I've come across today, and it's actually the mobile, sorry, I forgot what it stands for. Mobile World Congress, sorry. So this is Mobile World Congress, MWC, in Barcelona. It's a massive event, as you may have seen just before. It's all about mobile telecommunications and all the other aspects that come off that. And it's fusing everything these days, mobile. What is mobile? What is Wi-Fi? Everything from how we use it in our smartphones to how we use it on public transport, in vehicles now. Remember, the next stage of vehicles is it's all these sorts of amazing things. So they run trade shows and conventions to get the message out and show people what developments are happening. So many people are interested in this. If we go back a step and we look at the stats, what you're going to see is that there are 109,000 attendees from 198 countries and territories. That's the first message that jumps right out at me. 59% of the attendees hold senior level positions. What does that mean to you? Nothing? You might think, okay, well, I'm just interested in the hotel bookings. What do I care if these people are senior level positions? 7,900 CEOs to attend this event. What do I care? I'm not going to meet them. I'm just going to find hotels. But what hotels are you going to find? And if you look at this event, is this a karate event for families where they'll stay in cheap accommodation, or does this look like something that you could book a few 5-star rooms? And if you can book some 5-star rooms, what does that mean for the potential? This is all about time spent for rewards gained. So if you can do, let's say your capacity as a hotel booking agent is to work with 50 events a year. That's one event a week, pretty much. Right? So that's motoring. That's going at it. Imagine if you did 50 to 100 bookings for every event. You're doing 50 to 100 bookings every week. So, when you look at it like that, that's quite intense. Now, your city might have 5,000 events a year, but you're only after 50, or maybe you're after 20 to begin with, or 10, whatever it is. Make sure they're the best 10 for you. Now, that doesn't mean go for high-profile events, and they might be more competitive and you don't have the experience when you're just starting. That's fine. But as you go up the ladder, you'll have more and more experience and be able to actually connect with more and more events. But why not spend your time on events that are going to give you the best return? Okay? But that might not be your aim. And that's why I said at the start of the conversation, what's your goal? Your goal might be to deal with kids events, sports tournaments, amateur, helping families book accommodation for a soccer tournament. But you're going to do lots of bookings. So you're not after the big hit $500 a night hotels. You're after the $200 a night apartments. And that's fine. Nothing wrong with that. If you feel you can do 100 of them for an event, or 50 of them, or whatever's good for you. You've got to look at your own goals and say, what am I going to achieve? What do I want to achieve? We can't just say, I want to achieve $1 million. That's not specific enough. So what do you want to achieve and how are you going to achieve it? And then once you have an idea of that, then you can start looking at events. And then you can start going, okay, well, if I'm going to achieve $100,000 in commission, I need to do $1 million in bookings this year. So how am I going to do $1 million in bookings? Okay, let's break it down. So if I do $1 million worth of bookings, and I'm actually just using a calculator to do this. So let's say I want $1 million worth of bookings, and that's going to make me $100,000 in commission. Divide it by the average room rate of the sector that you're interested. So if we're talking about senior level positions, then we're probably talking about $350, okay, per night for a lot of these, maybe 300. Let's say 350. So we divide it by 300. That means we have to do 2,857 room nights, not bookings, room nights. Now, for a trade show, what's the average number of room nights? Okay, so the average number of room nights is probably 3 room nights, especially if it's to do with exhibitors. So let's divide that then by 3. Okay, that's 952 bookings. So remember what we did was we took the revenue and we divided the revenue by the average price per night in a hotel room, not the average booking, the average price per night, the average room night. And then we had a bit of a guesstimate as to how many room nights we're going to book on average. In our experience, is about 3 nights. Can be more, can be 4 nights for a trade show, especially if they're in destinations where people want to stay a bit longer. That's great because they're 2 or 3 days at the conference, but they're going to Barcelona. Who wants to only spend days in Barcelona at a conference? People want a couple of days sightseeing. It could end up 4 or 5 nights very, very easily at $300, $400, $500 a night, depending. But let's just say, so that's 952 bookings, 3-night bookings, okay, for the year to earn $100,000. Now let's divide that. So let's take our 952 bookings for the year, which is going to give us that. And we've worked out that we need to do $350 a night, which means we're going to stay in the high profile, conventions and exhibitions, which attract CEOs, but also maybe pharmaceutical companies, medical industries, these sorts of industries in order to get our room rates up. Or once again, you just divide your numbers back by the average room rate, which would be $100, $150, $200 a night for a family, say $150, $200. So we're going to have a different figure. We're not going to have 950 bookings we need. Let's say we double that. Okay, so we're going to have 1,900 bookings divided by 3. Okay, so 1,900 room nights divided by 3, which could be 633. So it all depends. So let's go back to the other one. So 952 bookings for the year. 952 bookings divided by 12 months, which means we need to do 79 bookings per month. 79 bookings starts to give you some shape. This is, you want to earn $100,000 a year, you need to do 79 bookings a month. Okay? Now, in the course of an event, that's approximately 1 or 2 events. So you need to be doing 1 or 2 events per month on quite a serious basis. Remember, this is for $100,000 a year. $100,000 a year is a very, very good salary for a lot of people. A lot of people would love to be earning $100,000 a year. So you have to do some work for it. So you're talking about doing 79 bookings per month for 12 months. That deserves $100,000 a year, basically. And there might be opportunities to earn more. You might also do airport transfers. You might do tour bookings. You might do coaches. You might do all these sorts of things. So that hopefully starts to give you, put some meat on the bones, as they say, starts to give you a bit of an idea of what you need to do. But that's the way you can work it back. And that's the way you can start to goal set for 2020. You've got to understand this is your business. What are your expectations for the next 12 months? If your expectations are lower than that, then great. If they're higher than that, then great. You know what you need to do. So then you jump on the internet and you start looking at the bookings and the events that can deliver that to you. Okay, so these events, senior level, all of a sudden this starts to mean a little bit more, doesn't it? So 109,000 attendees, that's amazing. Okay, from 198 countries. Okay, very good. All right. 59% senior level positions. That's 7,900 CEOs. 3,640 international media and industry analysts. Well, guess where they have to stay? In a hotel. Okay. 1 million business meetings. All this starts to mean something. And look at the people that are attending. Now, you can even, you can get obsessive about this event. Okay. So yes, you can look and you'll see that they've got a hotel partner. If we connect through, these guys do have a hotel partner. But I was contacted by the organizer today for this event, even though they had a hotel partner. Why? Because they wanted to earn some money out of it. So sometimes that's a great motivator, Imagine being able to get access to that market and share some of your commission. It's just like as if you had a marketing fee. Remember, you don't have a marketing fee. You don't pay for advertising because you're using the traffic on the website of the event. So therefore, you can share some of your commission, and effectively, it's like having a marketing fee. Businesses don't run on a 100% profit basis. They have overheads. So the more people you can incentivize to help you be successful, the more successful you're going to be. So we help you. We take 20% of the pie. That leaves you with 80% of the pie. Okay. Then with that 80% of the pie, most businesses, if they net profit 20 to 30% out of their business, they're doing well. Net profit. Okay. That's even after they've paid themselves. So, you've got to look at the basic laws of business. And that means that you've got 20 or 30% there that you can incentivize an event organizer to be successful with you. And that still leaves you a net of 20, 30, 40%, 50%, depending on how you want to run your business. Most people are not going to leave money in the business. They're going to draw the money out of the business. So these are the things to look at. So your initial assumption might have been that they already have an agent. They don't need me. They already have an agent. Look, they've got 209 hotels. 209 hotels. To me, that's too many hotels. To me, there is no way this organization, who is apparently the official accommodation partner of MWC, they're called B Network, they have negotiated with 209 hotels for this event? I don't think so. What they've done is they've got the rates from a third-party website and they've just put it together for convenience. This is as good as just linking booking.com in. This does not give the attendees a benefit. Where is the benefit? Where is the negotiated rate? Okay, I can't see anywhere it says a negotiated rate. All it says is accommodation partner. So don't judge a book by its cover. Research. You could be walking past an opportunity which has 109,000 people attending. Okay. So be prepared, research the website, know what your product is, know how you can make a difference to them and where you're different, and contact them and talk to them and let them know what you can do. And firstly, ask them some questions. Hey, how's your accommodation partner going? Do you earn money every time a booking is made? Are you aware there are 209 hotels available and it is highly unlikely that they've negotiated a rate with these 209 hotels? I would say actually they've negotiated a rate with 6 of them, because if you have a look, or maybe 7 of them, the top 7 have got best deal written on them. So I would assume they've actually only negotiated rates with 7. But by having 209 hotels on that page means the attendees can go and book through the other 202 hotels and give them their business, right? But the ones who've actually given the negotiated rate get far less business. It dilutes any of the business they're going to get. Whereas we've always taken the other approach to say, we only want to offer 4 or 5 hotels, and those hotels are going to be our partners. We're going to champion those hotels. Why? Because we're not so focused just on making a commission. In order to get the best rates, we need to partner with these hotels. If we're going to get these hotels to drop their rate below Booking.com's or the rates they have on Booking.com by 10 to 40% to make it attractive to people to book, then we're sure as hell going to negotiate a really good position for these hotels. If we're going to sell them 20%, 30% under Booking.com, we're not there just to rip the hotels off. We're there to partner with them. We're going to make sure these hotels get as many bookings as we possibly can. Why? Because they deserve it, because every dollar under Booking.com's rate that they give us is essentially what we consider their investment in our event, because that shows willing. But we're also going to work with these guys again, aren't we? These hotels again and again and again. So we don't want to keep ripping them off. We want to make sure they understand they're special to us. And the only way you can demonstrate that a hotel is special to you is by making it one of the most exclusive properties on the website. So don't have 10 5-star hotels, have 1 or 2, and make sure they understand they are one of 2 or one of 1 hotel in that star category on the website. So you can have a budget, mid-range, luxury, boutique, you call it whatever you want. You can have 1 or 2 of each of those, but make sure it's special. So my point with this is that they don't look like negotiated rates, which means they're not giving them anything particularly special. And it sounds like, because we got a call from the event organizer, that they're not even getting a commission. And the reason the event organizer actually contacted me, because they want more control over this. They want to be the agent, but I know they're too busy working with their event. So although they want to think they're the agent, they're not going to want to do the work. So therefore, we come in and do the work. And so we share commission with them. They provide the marketing and the distribution to their audience, and we provide the hotels and manage the bookings and requests. And that is a partnership. That does not make us Booking.com or Expedia or Agoda. That is not what we do. That is a partnership. So when you talk to these hotels, just simply by understanding this one website and really having a think about where you fit in, it opens a whole new conversation which is desirable to the event organizer, because you understand where they're at. You understand the type of event. You understand the potential. You understand what the organizer is looking for, because you ask the right questions. And so rather than trying to call 10 different events in half an hour, call one in half an hour. But having spent 25 minutes researching the website and understanding what they do beforehand. But as I said, all this comes back to your goal setting. Number one, what do you want to achieve? What do you want? Do you know what you want? If not, decide, pick a path of what you want, and let's see if you can achieve that. But don't be random scattergun, because then you've got nothing to measure against. How's it going? Oh, I'm not really sure. Compared to what? So have something to measure against. Know what you want. Write down your goal. And then you start to select the event, which is number one, and probably the most crucial element of our training, is the clients. And this is the reason why. Once you know your clients, once you've got your clients, you dictate the future revenue of your business. You dictate the type of hotels that you're going to be working with. And if you go scattergun and you pick one client in this category, and then you pick a completely different category, you've just wasted the relationship with the hotels. And the whole idea is not just to use these hotels once, but to use them on a regular basis. And when you do that, they treat you like part of the family, and they're going to give you anything you want because you're a great supplier of business. That's one of the reasons we train you to focus on a niche. So focus on a niche. It makes lots and lots of sense because you get to reuse your contacts and build better relationships. And this is all about building better relationships with the event organizer, and really showing you care and really caring. But you don't have to just work on one event at a time. So as much as you put that focus and energy into this, there's nothing to stop you from working on 3, 4, 5, 10 events at any one time, provided you've got the time and the resources and maybe the people to help you do that. This is how you scale your business. This business can be as big as you want it to be. What determines that is the number of events that you can handle. And what determines that is your level of activity. That's down to you. This is just a platform. But can you work with 100 events? Yes. Can you work with one event and make $100? Yes. Can you work with 1,000 events and make $1 million? Why not? Why not? It's just scale. I've been doing this business for 20 years. And at one point, we were doing 3,000 bookings per month. And that was purely in complete line with the activity and the number of people we had working. One person can't do that. We had 6 people. At one point, we had even more, but that's because we didn't have the technology that you had. So we've made it so that we didn't have to employ as many people, and the technology could do a lot of that. So this is the conversation I wanted to have with you, because I think it's really important that you're looking ahead now. Things will be starting to wind down unless you've been, I won't say lucky, because it's not about luck, unless you've been focused quite smartly on this end of the year to concentrate on Christmas parties and those sorts of things, because there's lots of Christmas parties out there. And lots of staff need accommodation because they're all having a bit of a drink and they've traveled maybe, and they make a night of it, or they make a couple of nights of it. So wherever you are in the world, I know in London, in Singapore, these things are quite popular. So if you've lined them up, it means a month that you think's quite quiet, being December, actually could be one of your busiest months because you've planned ahead. All right, so look at your calendars. Be active. Start now. Don't be so last minute. Don't be so scattergun. Plan it out, and you will have something to work towards, and you will be successful. And the other thing, of course, is don't give up. Once you've got that plan in place, do what it takes in order for you to get the number of events you need to achieve your goals. So that's really all I wanted to talk to you about at this point. There are many, many different types of events and ways of searching. Google is a great way. I'm going to show you something here. You have got access to some of the best resources of all time. There's never been a time in history where there's been so much opportunity online to find information, run a business, make money. Are you using all your resources? Like TripAdvisor. Have a look at this. So let's say, for example, your intention is to work on events like weddings. Weddings are great. You can do 50, 100 bookings for a wedding, 1 or 2 nights, $100, $200 a night. Bread and butter, right? Weddings happen all the time, everywhere, all over the world. And people aren't going to necessarily go and stay in different hotels. They generally want to stay in the one hotel. The bride and groom organizes a hotel or has an idea. And then how do people book it? They call the hotel directly. The bride and groom don't have a booking system. They're not going to send them to booking.com to book that wedding stay because they've just negotiated a rate. So what, they're going to make everyone call the hotel in 2019, 2020? No. What they use is a hotel's TV booking system, a PBA, with one hotel on it. You don't have to have more than one hotel, just have one hotel on it with the negotiated rate that you've got for the 50 plus guests. You're not going to send them to booking.com. They're going to end up paying more. Why would you do that? And they'll run out of rooms on there anyway because the hotels will only set a certain amount and then the price will go up. So they'll end up paying much more, 30, 40% more than the first guests who booked in. So that doesn't work. They need a PBA. They need a booking system. So how do you find the weddings? Weddings don't advertise, right? You can't Google weddings necessarily, but you can Google wedding venues. And you could just Google around wedding venues. But look at this is TripAdvisor. TripAdvisor is all about reviews of things, but it's also a search engine for you. Now, I've just put in wedding venue, United Kingdom, Europe, right? And then there's sub-results, all results, hotels, holiday rentals, restaurants, things to do, tours. So I've clicked on restaurants because guess what? There's a lot of restaurants out there that don't have accommodation. The only restaurants that do have accommodation are the ones in hotels. So fine, you might see there's some hotels in this list. That's fine, no problem. Avoid them. Look at this, West Street Vineyard. Great. 28 mentions of wedding venue. Contact them. Tell them what you're doing. Give them 20% or 25% to introduce you to the bride and grooms that they've got checking into that hotel. Into the booking to that wedding venue. They might do 2 or 3 or 4 weddings a week that they can refer you to. 2 or 3 weddings a week. Go to 20 different wedding venues and get 2 weddings a month from 20 different wedding venues, not a week. 2 weddings a month. That's 40 weddings a month times an average return of $1,000 in commission. That's $40,000 a month just from doing weddings, which are the simplest booking you'll ever imagine because everyone wants to do what everyone else is doing and stay at the same hotel. And they will do whatever the bride and groom has told them to do, just like an event organizer generally. So weddings, you might be talking a lower price per night per hotel and maybe only 1 or 2 nights at the hotel. than compared to the trade show or the other show that I showed you before, but you might do 10 times more bookings. And this is what you've got to decide and focus on. What are my goals? What do I want to do? Do I want to be in weddings? Do I want to be in trade shows? Do I want to be in karate tournaments, sports events? What do I want to do? Do I want to work with film production studios? I love film. Do I want to just work with them? I just want to accommodate the crew and staff of the film production or the TV commercials. That's my niche. Then focus on it. So whatever it is you want to do, there is a market of hotels connected to it, and they're better off booking with you because you're booking as multiple rooms rather than going through booking.com. And you're caring for them more, and you're giving them an upgrade or a bottle of wine in the room or some sort of added value. That is what your role is. How are you going to add value to this client? And you should know that before you contact them. So I hope you found this useful, to say the least, and how planning and focusing really can make a massive difference to your business and to your motivation. Know what you're doing and why you're doing it. Otherwise, it's very difficult to do it. What are you doing and why are you doing it? And what value can you give to the event? Because if you've got no value, how are they going to receive you, these event organizers? Why should they do business with you? You've got to give them a reason. So know what you can do, believe in what you do, and do it, and be active, and don't let anything stop you. Don't put the dishwasher on. Don't put the washing machine on. The time you allocate to the business is the time that you allocate to the business. Just because you're running a business from home or you're self-employed doesn't give you the right to go and put the washing on or hang the washing out. If anything, if you want to make this business work for you, you've got to concentrate on it and give it the time that it needs. Any business, not just this business. Okay? And sometimes we forget that because we're working from home or we're working from, some other place. Some of our agents work from co-working spaces to keep their motivation up. Some people make sure they've got overheads to pay, like rent on an office. Why? Because it makes them motivated. If you've got no overheads, and unfortunately this business has very little overheads, okay, it can be a demotivator because you've got such little overhead to cover each month. What, $100, $200, $300 a month? It's nothing for a business as an overhead. A small office will cost you $1,000 a month. But it gives you good incentive to be active and to plan and to work hard and to build something of value and not just meander as such. So look ahead, plan, be active, persevere, be relentless, know what you want to achieve and go and do it. And I hope that is your mantra for 2020. You've got every opportunity to do it, but the planning should be starting now for next year so that you can hit the ground running when everything gets back to normal. And some events actually do take place in January and February, I'll have you know, because the rates in hotels and the occupancy is usually down in February for a lot of hotels, sometimes in mid to late January as well, depending on the hemisphere you're in. And that's a great opportunity for groups to have a very good rate at the hotel and to have very good availability. So you get a lot of groups sometimes in hotels around that time of year. So, this year, there doesn't necessarily have to be quiet months. This year, this time of year, you should have Christmas parties, and early January and February, you could have groups. And then the rest of the year, it's game on because it's normal business. So hopefully, as I said, that's helped you. If you have any questions, please jot them down and I'll certainly answer them, but it's all in the planning. All right, I think we've got some questions coming in, so I'll keep the recording going. Yeah, hi, Hamza. Hamza is our agent in Penang, Malaysia. And Hamza's working on some events at the moment and actually planting some seeds with some quite large event organizers, which hopefully he'll have some decisions from shortly. But some of these take a little bit longer, a little bit of toing and froing, and you've got to wait for committee meetings as well to take place. But often they can be worthwhile. Okay, just waiting on Hamza's question coming in. If there's anyone else who has a question, please jot it down. Doesn't matter what it is. Happy to answer it. Look, one of the most common questions we get asked from our agents is, how do we find the hotels? The events. How do we talk to them? How do we know they're a good option? And through the training, you'll see that one of the ways of doing that is just having a research of the event, not only looking at their website that's right now for this coming event, but actually try and look at some historical information, because these events often like to know or like to show off how many people have attended their events in the past, and that gives you a really good idea. And then have a look to, at whether they have an accommodation partner or not, or if they have, what sort of quality is the accommodation partner? If it's just booking.com or what we just looked at, that's, not really providing a great benefit other than convenience. And a lot of people have booking.com's app on their smartphone anyway. So they'll quickly compare the rate and realize that they're just better off using their own devices that they've been using already. When we get rates negotiated, there's a clear difference and there's a clear gap and there's a clear advantage. And as long as you have that clear advantage, there is no competition as such. Especially, if your intention is to keep the group together, if it is to keep them all on the same floor, if you've negotiated a rate, if they get some added value, all these are really important things. It's not always about price. Sometimes it's about convenience and organization. Okay, so the question Hams has asked, I need your view and comment about one particular synergy that we could work out, although it's not norm how hotels TV function. So let's have a look here. Escape.my. So, okay, yeah, I can put that in, Hamza. Escape.my. Okay, so I think, if I'm correct, Hamza, what you're saying is that there is the potential, so this is a water slide. It's a theme park. Okay, so this is one of the most prominent theme parks in Malaysia. And what Hamza's interested in doing with these guys is connecting a booking system and benefiting from the fact that a lot of people go directly to this website first before booking their accommodation. So these opportunities can be good. Let me know if I'm correct in that assumption, Hamza. So these can be good. Now, my personal opinion with these is that there are other options to go for first before you go for the theme park or the tourism sites. These can be good. They're worth a contact. They're worth a telephone call because you'll find out pretty quickly if it's an option for you or not. Sometimes, for all sorts of reasons, they don't want to give preference to a hotel booking company or a select hotel. They want you to go and find your own. One of the reasons for that is that a lot of these hotels sell the tickets to their guests to attend the park. So if the theme park is shown to be favoring specific hotels, then the hotels may not sell the tickets. So if you built a booking system, then I would suggest that you make sure that you're aware of all the hotels that are selling their tickets, and maybe you feature all the hotels on that platform. So once again, it's good to think these things through to see the potential of it. The other thing, of course, I would watch out for with this is the fact that a lot of people don't book their tickets first, that they book their accommodation first, they turn up, and then they book their tickets, unless it's a particularly good deal. Then they book their tickets once they're in their accommodation, even if they're booking online. So even though they don't have an accommodation booking system, it may be due to the order of operations that the average guest would take. But it's worth a phone call. It's worth calling the event, the venue, theme park, and actually saying to them, look, we have a booking system. We can connect that to your event. What do you think about that? And sound them out on it. You can spend days guessing with these venues, these tourism websites. If you just picked up the phone, you'll know within seconds if there's potential there or not, and get through to the right people, whoever that is. But right. So Hamza, I think you're saying that you've already registered as their tour agent, which means that you've got the potential of selling tickets for them, perhaps, which is a pretty good thing because, if you're doing any trade shows, groups, events, those sorts of things, or tournaments, sports tournaments, and people are coming to Penang, then you, on each PBA, you can offer them tickets to the event. But look, I wouldn't spend too much time focusing on the theme parks or the tourism websites. I would, once again, call them and see if there's a market. We definitely know there's a market in groups, events, trade shows, exhibitions, weddings, sports tournaments. There is a market in tourism sites such as scuba diving companies and more of these independents. But like I say, my experience with the larger theme parks has also been that they don't want to be seen to be favoring specific accommodation options because they actually get business from all the accommodation options. So it's kind of like feature them all or feature none of them. But I may be wrong. So it's worth a conversation. But like I say, look, you've got lots and lots of options outside of that with specific events that are bringing people in. Theme parks bring people in, but not kind of as focused as an event actually does. So I hope that makes sense. Hamza saying, my question is that since this is all year round, how do we negotiate with the hotels? Well, that's a very good point. That is another reason we don't do these. because these are few and far between. If you're going to negotiate rates for every day of the year, which you would need to do for a theme park, then the only way people are going to book is if you've got better rates than booking.com. But the only way the hotels are going to give you a better rate is if you can show them that you are the exclusive agent on that platform. Then it's up to the participating hotels, but then maybe not all of the participating hotels want to be on because they don't want to give you the cheapest rates for whatever reason. It's up to them. But then if the tourism company, theme park, then turns around and says, no, well, I want all of the hotels or none of the hotels, then you're pretty stuffed as a result. So the reason we focus on groups and events and trade shows is exactly that. They are at specific times of the year. They're measurable. We are the exclusive agent with that event, which means we can then go to the hotels and see if they want to be involved for that short period of time. We can negotiate rates safely, understanding and knowing that they're going to be better value. And we can just keep focusing on these events time and time again. And we're bringing a whole new crowd who may even attend this. So you may be better off just selling the tickets to these people because they'll probably do it while it's there. But it's not something that is going to necessarily be drawing people directly to. And if it is, then you've got a lot of competition with a lot of the holiday companies out there that are selling 7-day, 14-night family packages into apartments and hotels with that. So no, I don't think this is the right focus from an event because it's not an event. It's a theme park that's open all year round. It's still worth a phone call. If you can strike a deal with them, great. But don't make this the only focus that you've got. There are lots of other events that, are worthwhile, and you'll be able to sell some tickets as well. Otherwise, you've got a, 12-month of the year rate negotiation issue. And if you're higher than the other, on booking.com or on their favorite holiday booking platform, then they'll just book with them. So, all right. Well, look, that really brings us to the hour. Thank you so much for joining us today. We have recorded this, so this will be available to review under the Hotels TV training channel. That's youtube.com/Hotels TV training, Hotels TV training on YouTube. Make sure you subscribe to that channel. Then every time we post a new training video, you will get a notification. So that's really important. And there's lots of other resources, as no doubt your main 8-stage training program is hosted on that, and lots of other replays or recordings of our webinars and different training sessions have been done and deposited on there. So once again, thank you so much for joining us. And for those who are watching the video after the live recording, please connect with our events in a live capacity, because you'll get so much more also joining us live, and you'll be able to ask questions live, which I think is really an important part of this process. So please try and attend some of these. I do know that you do watch these after the actual webinar, which is great. And hopefully you're finding them informative. But to get your feedback during the webinar is really good. Thank you to those who have joined us. It's great to see you on a regular basis, and look forward to seeing you next Monday for more. All right. Have a great week, and bye for now.